All right, first things first. If you do not have a calculator tomorrow, you are going to have issues, big time. All right, there's a little bit of everything from this review, so I'm going to go over a couple things. I'll post the whole thing worked out with answers and all that later so you can see it. But we need to be able to evaluate. We need to enter things into our calculator. So when I put this in my calculator, I say -3. You hit the E button. Generally, it's second ln. And I would say 4 times -1.2. If I were you, I would put every exponent in parentheses. So when you guys do this, what is -3 times e to the whatever power? -0.024, something like that? Okay. I'll tell you on the quiz. It's fine. If you get something close to that, that's good. Okay, so number 2. You put it in exactly like you see it. So negative, and for 1/4 in your calculators, guys, you could put parenthesis 1 divided by 4. Raise it to the 1/2 power, 1 divided by half. Make sure you arrow over so you're still not in the exponent, and then plus 3. What are y'all getting? 5 over 2, or what's another way to say that? 2.5? Yeah. Okay. If you have issues with your calculator, you let me know. William, make sure you're paying attention, babe. Okay, for this one, guys, look. In your calculator, you should hit 7.1, then hit second and the LN button. The E should come up. In your exponent, you should have parentheses. Do 5 times 0.95 minus 2. Close your parenthesis. 5 times the 0.95. You need to do that, and then minus 2. That all needs to be in your parentheses. What do you got? Yep. What is it? 111.06, something like that? Yeah. All right, when we talk about transformations, guys, this is the exact same thing that we've talked about a million times. Here is my function. This is my base. This is my exponential, okay? So if I have a negative sign out in front, that means it reflects over what? No. No, you're right. I'm sorry. It reflects over the x-axis. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. Anything that is with the exponent, it's with the x up and top, that has to do horizontal. So does that move this right one or left one? Left one. It's the opposite of what you think whenever it's up in the exponent. And then what does this minus 7 mean? Down 7. Good. You'll have 2 of those. You guys need to know that. I would. Like in this one, the second one. Here is my function right here. E to the x, right? Anytime we had a number greater than 1 in front, it was a vertical what? Vertical. The shifts are at the end. What's the vertical out in front? Bigger than 1? Stretch. Good. Now I have a negative sign, but it's with the exponent. That means it's the opposite of what we think. So we usually think it's a reflection over x. So guys, we have a negative sign with the x in the exponent. So it's not a reflection over x, it's a reflection over, good, reflect over y. And then we're always real good with this one. What is this plus 1 at the end? Up 1. Okay?
So the stretch compressions are only with when there's an E, right? Or is that?
No, it could be.
So
that's the base. If it was like 3, 4 to the x, if there is one. All right, guys, look at this one. I want you to pay attention to this closely. Here is my function, right here, right, with my x. Anything that's up here has to do with the x-axis. It's the opposite of what we think. But let's look left and right. If I have a negative way out in front, that's a reflection over what? Good, over x. If I have this minus 9 at the end, what does that mean? Down how much? All right, here's where you guys have to pay attention. I have 2 things going on in the x. I have 8 in front of the x. That is generally, look, if the 8 was here, you guys would tell me it's a vertical stretch. But it's inside. It's the opposite of what we think. So it's a horizontal what? Compression. Good. Horizontal compression. Now, some of you are like, what are you talking about? Guys, remember this. Look, if we had this, 2x minus 1 squared, f of x equals. What does this minus 1 inside the parenthesis mean? Right one. What does the 2 in front of the x mean? A horizontal what? It's the opposite of what you think. So it's the exact same thing here. Exact same thing. We've done that before. It's the exact same thing. It just happened to be in a exponent. Yes, sir.
What if it was plus 6?
Then it would be left 6.
No, like it was 8.
Right. This right here, since it's minus 6, it's the opposite of what you think. So instead of going left 6, it's going where?
Right.
6. So if it was plus 6, it would be going left.
But if it was though, like you say it's a horizontal compression. Is that the answer for that part?
The 8 part is the horizontal compression. All right, guys, I'm going to do one of these right now just so you guys can see. I'm not going to do the whole thing because we're kind of short on time, but I will post all of the answers. You'll have one or two like this. Everybody look. Hayden, look. I will tell you what I want you to plug in. I will give you X values. It's easier for me to grade when you all have the same number so I can see who did it right, who did it wrong. What you guys are going to do is simply plug in. You have negative 1/3, and I'm going to raise it to the negative 2 plus 2. In your calculators, guys, it is super important that you put your exponent in parentheses. If you do that, what's negative 1/3 raised to the negative 2 plus 2 power? What's your answer? Negative 1. Good. So then I say, okay, negative 1/3, and I raise it to the negative 1 plus 2. Now, this is you showing me your work. If you know, you understand, you're showing me how to do this, but you put it in your calculator and you did it wrong, you forgot a parenthesis, whatever, I can give you a little bit of credit because you're showing me you kind of understand a little bit. What do I get when I get negative 1/3 and I raise it to the negative 1 plus 2?
Negative 1/3.
Negative 1/3 or negative 0.333? Okay. So now I say negative 1/3 and I'm raising it to the 0 plus 2 powers. What?
Negative 1/9.
Negative 1/9, which is what? Negative 0.11?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I have negative, and I say 1/3 to the 1 plus 2, which is?
Negative 1/27.
Which is what? That's a decimal.
.037 repeated.
So 0.04, something like that. And then negative 1/3 to the 2 plus 2.
Negative 1/81.
Negative 1/81, which is?
.01234.
Okay. So guys, if you're asked to graph this, I'm going to leave the X and Y axis blank like this so you can do this. You're going to obviously put negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2 because those are your X values. Now, based upon what your biggest and smallest Y values are, that's how you can make it. What's the biggest Y value and the smallest Y value?
The biggest Y is -1.
Look, the smallest I have is negative 1, and then it gets really close to 0. So you guys can make this based however you want to, but at negative 2, I'm at negative 1. At negative 1, I'm up here, way up here by, say, here. And then at 0, I'm here, and then here, and then here. Just the general direction. It's not going to be perfect. I understand that. In the second one, I think the biggest value you have is almost 30, and the smallest value you have is like 0.5. So just make your scale accordingly. And again, I'll post all of this later. All right, next thing I want to talk about, and you guys should have this pulled up so you can see. I know it's small up there. There's 2 interest formulas. I am giving you this one. I will give you that one. I am not giving you APERT. When do we use APERT? When it says compounded how? Continuously. When you see continuously, you think about our friend, what's his name? APERT. Okay? So when you go through this, guys, identify all these different pieces. P is your principal. It's the amount you start off with. So what did I start off with here? Read that number. 11,500. You guys should not be looking at this like you've never seen it before because we all turned it in that we had it done, right? Okay, good. It says after 8 years. What is 8 years? It's our T, it's our time. And it says my interest rate of 12.3%. What is that as a decimal? 12.3% is what as a decimal?
0.123.
0.123. So those things are all constant. Those are not going to change. The thing that's going to change is when they say that something is compounded semi-annually. That's my N. What does semi-annually mean? How many times a year? 2. In this case, quarterly. How many times a year is quarterly? Good. In this case, monthly. What's monthly? 12. Continuously. Oh, I see continuously. What's the first thing I think of? APERT. Guys, what about if it was daily? Say it again. 365. What about if it said weekly? 52. Okay, make sure you are understanding what those words mean. So all you're going to do is plug into the formula that I'm going to give you. Your formula is P times 1 plus your rate divided by the N, and you raise that to the N times T. Here's where you guys need to pay attention right now. You need to understand how to put this in your calculator. What is the initial amount of money that you are investing? Okay, so watch. It goes $11,500, parenthesis, 1 plus. What is the interest rate? 0.123 divided by N, which is 2. And then we raise that to the what?
16.
Okay, we raise it to the 2 times 8 power. Now let me show you guys something. In your calculator, you should put it in just like you see it. Practice this, everybody. 11,500, parenthesis, 1 plus, parenthesis, 0.123 divided by 2. Close that parenthesis, then you have to close the other one. When you do your exponent, do you notice I put 2 times 8 in what? Parentheses. Could you just write 16? Yeah, same thing. But you have to put stuff in parentheses or else you'll tell me, I got an error. It doesn't work. It works. You just have to work. What are we getting? Okay, hold on. 29,882? 882.56. William, thank you so much for saying 0.56. Guys, we're talking about money, correct? Don't tell me 0.56, 1, 2, 7, 3, 4. Don't do that. Round to 2 decimal places. If you guys are not getting that, you need to say right now, Ms. Meadows, I didn't get it. I need help. I cannot help you tomorrow with your calculator. Okay? Guys, look, the quarterly, monthly, all of that is the exact same thing. What's the only thing that changes?
The number.
Where?
10.
So this will change and this will change. When I have quarterly, what do I change those 2's to? 4. The next one says what? Monthly. If I have monthly, those 2's change to what? 12. If it was daily, those 2's change to 365. Okay, good. I am giving you this formula that will be printed on your test. You guys, or quiz. You guys don't have to memorize that. You do not get the APERT formula. Because when I see the word continuous, I think of my friend whose name is, APERT. So I know that the initial amount that I put in was $11,500, yes? Then I have E. Watch what I do. I put my exponent in parentheses. What was the interest rate we had?
11,500.
No, interest rate.
Oh.
0.123. And then I'm going to times that by how much? 8. Now, guys, remember I told you, because every single quiz is going to have one continuously and one that's compounded monthly, quarterly, yearly. The numbers should be relatively close. What is your answer here when you have 11,500? What'd you guys get?
30,000.
30,764.06. So look, what did we get when we were compounding semi-annually? 29,882. When we did continuously, 30,764. Are those two numbers close? Yes. You should not get one number and then for the second one get like $100 million more. You should look and go, oh, wait, I messed something up. If in your calculator you get an answer and it comes out like 2.34 times 10 to the ninth, do you think I gave you a problem where your money value was 2.34 times 10 to the ninth? No, check. You did something wrong. You guys with me? Okay, got a couple more minutes. On your test tomorrow, and again, I'll post everything worked out. You're going to have a word problem. A quiz. I keep saying test. It's a quiz. You're going to have a word problem where I will give you the formula. It's going to be about, I don't know, some infectious disease, something like that. They're going to give you a formula, and they're going to say, what is the value when the rate is 0, or the time is 0, or when the rate or time is 25? What are you guys going to plug in this formula? For what? R. I'm going to give you the formula, and all you have to do is just plug in either for whatever letters there, R, T, whatever. So let's evaluate B. Let's do this together so you guys understand how to do this in your calculator. It's 5 divided by, and then parenthesis, 0.12 plus 13e to the parenthesis, negative 0.71 times, we're going to do 25 here. And then close your parenthesis. That's how it should look in your calculator. If you don't put your parentheses in your exponent, it's going to give you the wrong answer. If you don't put parentheses in the bottom, in the denominator at the beginning and the end, it's going to divide first. You cannot do that. You have to tell your calculator what to do. Okay, so if they're talking about people, number of people affected. Nunez said he got 41.67. Okay, hang on. Guys, how many people is that? Can you have partial people?
No.
So you would tell me it's about how many?
41.
I'd say about 41, 42. Either way is fine. Don't leave it as a decimal. All right, guys, I will post this whole thing worked out under modules, I promise, by the end of the day. But the video will be uploaded. If you're having issues with your calculator, you need to come see me tomorrow morning. You cannot come in 2 minutes before. Hey, I got a quick question. I don't know how to do this. You guys need to be familiar with your calculator. Come see me in the morning if you need me, okay? Sorry this is so fast. Thank you.